I'm now talking with Dawn Henley, who's been having a press conference talking to not just the press but also to members of TIMLD about the obesity of children on the Isle of Man. I mean, Dawn, you've got some amazingly high figures here. What, 1 in every 5 children is overweight?
1 in every 5 reception class children is obese or overweight on the Isle of Man.
This, compared with the northwest of England, is better or worse then?
On par, really, very, very similar.
You're calling for something to be done about it, or alerting everyone to it. Have you got any plans of what to do then?
Yeah, today was to look at launching the Tackling Childhood Overweight and Obesity plan for the Isle of Man. It's very much a plan where we're going to work in collaboration with our partners within other government departments, local authorities, third sector and private sector. What the issue is there are more and more children becoming overweight and obese, and as they get older this problem becomes worse, and then it can lead into adulthood as well, and this is a very significant public health problem, mainly because of the health issues. We have a number of children now presenting with type 2 diabetes, and many years ago there was only a handful of children. Now there's a lot more in this position. It used to be thought of as an adult disease and one caused by lifestyle. We can address these issues through improving our lifestyle, through healthy diet and taking part more in physical activity.
This is all obvious stuff though, isn't it? I mean, and really, have you put any onus on the parents for getting their kids to do more exercise? Because let's face it, computer games rule, don't they, for so many kids these days, rather than going out on a bike?
Yes, and very much within this strategy we'd like it to be a family thing. It would be very good to see more parents out with their children taking part in physical activity, or if they feel they can't take part in physical activity, maybe they could encourage their children to join some groups, or even just go outside and play, running around and playing and using energy.
How much does this cost the health service? Because obviously this is really where it all ends up, doesn't it? Because the fat kids become fat adults, and then they need gastric bands or something fitting eventually if they want to improve their lifestyle. You've got a lot of people, I believe, that in the Isle of Man on that sort of list that need some help with their weight.
We're looking about 15 to 20,000 per person, and there's about 800 people on the Isle of Man.
And they're entitled to get that? I mean, to have a gastric band or whatever's the thing of the day to help reduce weight?
It's not guaranteed that they could have this treatment, but good guidance says that they would be able to have this treatment. Okay,
so back to kids, because this is what you're interested in. I mean, you're seeing a lot more than in the past. Things like fizzy drinks has a tremendous amount of sugar in it, doesn't it?
Very energy dense foods. If we're looking at fizzy drinks, we're looking at approximately 16 spoonfuls per can. And if you think the children are having 2 or 3 cans a day, plus their normal meals, plus sweets and other sugary things, that's where the weight could be going on.
So you're working with other departments, so you tell education, ban all sugary fizzy drinks. Is that the sort of thing you'd be doing, or is it not that simple?
It's not that simple, but we would look at education, who are already looking at supplying balanced school dinners now for children, and many of the schools now have salad bars. A couple of years ago we did do a lunchbox audit, looking at what the children had in their lunchbox, those that bring in packed lunches from home. And some of them were quite alarming. I can say that one lunchbox just had a giant cookie and a drink, and that was the lunch for the child for the day.
Which is then putting it back to the parent again.
Putting back to the parent. It's education that we need to do. We need to educate and help families really look at their diet. And sometimes maybe families aren't aware of the issues around food and the fat and the salt intake.
You said at the beginning this is similar to the northwest of the UK. So we're not any better or any worse. I mean, what are they doing? I mean, surely you should be looking, and you've got tons of items in here, looking at what other countries are doing, especially the UK. Is there anything you've learned from all this, though?
I think one of the good things that we've learned from this is maybe looking at the common sense model to tackle childhood obesity. is just looking at things that we can do ourselves, and then things looking collaboratively what we can do as a government department and other organisations. For a start, if we look at us as an individual, then we can look at cutting out those sugary drinks and look at our sedentary lifestyle and look how we can improve that with more physical activity.
I mean, this has already been flagged some time ago when the dental profession were telling us that the Isle of Man had the worst teeth in the region, if you count us in the northwest, which again obviously goes into the same thing, that sugary drinks are going in these kids. Yet it's still continuing. I mean, how can you get that message across that this has got to change for their own health? Because once they're fat, it's almost, your figures are saying, it's very difficult in adulthood to lose that fatness or the overweight.
It is. It's very difficult. But what we want to do with this strategy is start from the beginning, start from the birth of the child, looking at breastfeeding, because a BMJ study has shown that children that are breastfed have less incidence of being obese or overweight as a child.
So this is going out today. What happens next?
What happens next is we're all going to meet as a team and get a team together of all our partners, and then come up with an implementation plan of how we're going to implement this in the future.
And have you set a target, so many years to do this on, or is it ongoing?
We've looked at a target of up to 5 to 10 years, and because we need a behavioural change, and in order to affect a behavioural change it takes between 10 and 15 years, so we need to keep chipping away all the time at this project.